Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Melissa Thomas. Happy New Year to you. For those of you who are just tuning in, haven't seen FNN Politics and Power since 2022, happy 2023 to you. And of course, I'm your host, Melissa Thomas, and we are back with a repeat guest. Huge thanks to this gentleman, this commissioner who has been a repeat guest on our show. Um, Kind of needs no introduction at this point. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Ocoee District 4 Commissioner uh, George Oliver III. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you for having me back. And Happy
Sure, no
New Year
problem.
to you.
Happy New Year to you. Um, by the way, it's Melissa. Just wanted to let you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Melissa. Oh, Jesus. I am
I
so
know
sorry.
it's been a minute.
It's been a morning. It's been one of those mornings. So, Melissa, I apologize, but Happy New Year to you. And thank you so much for having me back.
Absolutely, and thanks for coming on. I wanted to get your thoughts, diving right in. Want to get your thoughts on how Ocoee has fared since the COVID-19 pandemic, because obviously 2020 was the main event, if you will. 2021 was kind of that recovery year. Things were starting to level off. Now that we're in 2023, how do things look for the city of Ocoee and particularly for your district?
I think we have we right now, when we look at the post-COVID era as it pertains to Ocoee, we have recovered quite nicely due to having reserves and also being able to work with our federal lobbyists and being able to gather funds and work with FEMA to make sure that we recover from the hurricanes, not only just the pandemic, but from the hurricane itself that we've had again back in September. So far, we have been able to recover quite nicely with debris. And when we start talking about COVID, we were able to take advantage of a lot of different grant programs that helped us to not only get through COVID, but helped us in the midst of COVID to deal with the PPE issues we had, shortages, those kind of things, to deal with different policies and procedures that we had to kind of tweak to make sure that we keep our citizens safe as well as our staff and everyone, contractors, everyone that work with the city. So we've done so far so good. As far as the district is concerned, we had a lot of projects that was coming down the pipe in the midst of COVID. Some actually was accelerated due to COVID because we have some construction projects that were going on that was actually accelerated in the midst of COVID. And we got some roads punched all the way through. The thing that really slowed us up when we start talking about traffic calming devices like street signs and as well as traffic lights, when we start talking about materials and labor to actually get those things going, it slowed us down quite a bit. So we're starting now to see some of that starting to come in. Some traffic lights, much needed traffic lights are starting to go up. Again, we're still behind schedule due to COVID, but nonetheless, the district has been very, very attentive to some of our traffic issues. We've had a lot of different accidents at major intersections, and that has been it's something that our district has really been on top of, and we have been able to stay on that with the county as well as the city and make sure that these projects continue to move forward. They're starting to move a little. They're slower, but they're starting to move forward. And COVID is definitely something that we had to attribute the slowness of those projects to.
And what you just explained might tie into my next question, which is, what is the most common pain points that you're hearing as of January 2023 throughout the city of Ocoee, or from your constituents specifically in District 4?
Again, I think that kind of goes into what I was saying before about some of the traffic calming devices, road widenings, materials. The materials are starting to trickle in. And even though you may have money, some of the issues you run into with large scale projects when it comes to infrastructure is getting with the subcontractors that will allocate the time and the resources to come out and start the work. You can pay them. But if they don't have the resources to get the work done or even get the work started, paying them becomes a moot point because again, what we need is materials and we need the resources to to get the projects off the ground and get them running. One of the things that we run into right now is the Clark Road widening project, and that has been delayed for months, and that's due to materials, due to resources being available. Now that the materials are coming in, the resources are scarce. So that's one thing we're dealing with. When it comes to the county, we have materials, but then we run into issues like pipes in the ground that belongs to other agencies that we have to coordinate with to see if we either need to move those pipes, or if those they may be old pipes or old lines that we can just simply destroy and continue with those projects. And particularly one particular that comes to mind is the light on the corner of Ingham Road and Claricona Ocoee Road. We've seen a lot of progress there, electrical there. We see the signs for pedestrians. We can see the poles laying on the side, but we have additional concerns when it comes to lines that we found from other companies that we need to reach out and coordinate with them about either removal, or can we just continue to just dig through them and destroy them as they may not need them. So we're waiting on that, and those are some of the issues we run into, and COVID is definitely the culprit behind a lot of these delays.
Yeah, and that's the case all the way across the board on a national level. Wanted to get your thoughts on, because obviously this is your second term in office now, kind of talk about how you've seen the city of Ocoee evolve over your 2 terms, and do you feel it's improved?
Well, I feel that we've been kind of stagnant a little bit. I believe that what happens is when we fail to implement plans like strategic, we have strategic planning. When we fail to implement strategic drivers, establishing citywide visions and missions, those are some of the things that kind of hold us stagnant. It keeps us stagnant, and we will continue to move forward, even though, yes, we are moving forward, and we are moving. I think we're moving at a slower pace than what we should be. Again, if we would have had those strategic plans in place 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago, I believe that we will be in a better position than we are now. And I think we will be moving a little faster than what we're moving now. Because the city does not have a vision or a mission or any strategic planning or strategic drivers, then that's what kind of holds us hostage. Unlike our neighbors to the west of us, Winter Garden, they again, they're continuing to move forward by leaps and bounds, even though the population is not growing as fast as ours, because they had a strategic plan put in place back in 1991. That's one of the goals that I have for our city as I plan to run for mayor, is to immediately start implementing a strategic plan that is going to take us out for the next 40 years.
Got it. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in terms of your vision as mayor. Wanted to definitely get into that conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you always know, we take brief commercial breaks on our show. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
The Florida Lottery is proud to support education by contributing billions of dollars to Florida schools and awarding countless Bright Future scholarships, so Florida students can do more than just dream of a brighter future. They can create one. Learn more at flalottery.com.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of FNN Politics and Power. We are here with Ocoee Commissioner George Oliver III. So, wanted to piggyback off the last question before the break. Wanted to get your thoughts on, obviously, MLK Day just passed. Wanted to find out from you, especially as a trailblazer yourself, you know, what does MLK mean to you personally? We'll start with that first. And then what does that look like for the city of Ocoee? Because, of course, the city of Ocoee had their reception and everything. But on a day-to-day pragmatic basis, what does that look like for the city of Ocoee in terms of maintaining or living up to MLK's legacy?
Well, for me, I have to say, just being in this position as a city commissioner and being able to serve my community, and also even when I look at the community at large, meaning West Orange County or just Orange County, it is important for me to serve my community in every capacity possible. Whether I'm servicing a legacy for our youth and trying to figure out how we're going to leave them something that they can be proud of, and that's creating a legacy for them through my community service. So for me personally, I wake up every day trying to figure out, and my question is, what can I do for my city, and what can I do better than I did yesterday? And usually that question is answered through a text message or email or even a phone call through a citizen that requires some type of service. And I also think about I personally have what I call a Citizen Bill of Rights, and that Citizen Bill of Rights, it identifies the level of service that I need to be providing for my constituents as well as any other citizen in the city of Ocoee or even West Orange County. So that Bill of Rights is something that I live by, and I make sure that I maintain a high level of service for them, and also being able to follow up and get back with them on their issues, their day-to-day issues. When it comes to the city as a whole, that's something that I think that needs to be really looked at and implemented, which is a Citizen Bill of Rights. And that Bill of Rights should identify all the things that the citizens should expect out of its leadership. As far as the city is concerned right now, I think that we are doing some things that are really well. When it came to our parade, we have an essay contest. We look at doing all types of community service with citizens getting involved in the different boards, and we're doing some great things in our city with our citizens. But I do believe that we can always be better, and I'm sure no one would disagree with me on that in the city as far as leadership is concerned, because no one's perfect. Nothing is perfect, and we're always striving to be better. And that's one thing I can say about our city and our city staff. We're always looking to do better and to be better. And that's something that I challenge my fellow commissioners and mayor to always look to do better, to be better, and to service our community at the highest possible levels.
All right, so that's actually a great transition into what you mentioned before the break in terms of running for Ocoee mayor. So kind of talk about that. What made you decide to want to throw your hat in the ring for that?
Awesome. Well, that's a great question, because again, a lot of folks can just pick up and run for an office and not really have a real reason as to why they're running for an office, or they try to develop their platform as they're engaged in their run for whatever office they're running for. I've been a city commissioner for about 5 years now, almost 5 years. March will be about 5 years. And what I've noticed is some things that we need to start looking at in the city. And it starts with accountability. Accountability, when we start talking about a citywide operational audit, accountability is one of those things that we've never had. We have 50,000 residents, and we've never had an operational audit. We approved one in 2016. We just never funded it. We just never did it for whatever reasons. And that starts with accountability. We have to hold each other accountable as leaders. We have to hold our city staff accountable because we are definitely accountable for the taxpayer dollars. We also have to look at a standard of ethics, and we talk about the way we conduct business on a day-to-day basis. We have to look at economic development. I mentioned strategic planning. Strategic planning should be those drivers that affect our everyday decisions that we make. Again, as I mentioned before, we're not all perfect. We all make mistakes, but those strategic drivers and accountability holds us to a standard above the rest that's going to translate into how we're servicing our communities. So, for those reasons, accountability, economic development, the lack of strategic planning, we have little to no accountability when it comes to auditing because we have not done it. The lack of a vision and the lack of a mission for our city, the lack of not having a Citizen Bill of Rights for our citizens. These are the things that actually should affect every decision that we make operationally, every decision that we make when we deal with citizens, every decision that we make as we pay bills in the city, as we collect tax dollars. We need to look at infrastructure, our technology hubs. So for those are the reasons those reasons are the reason that I decided I need to run for mayor, because these things need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed immediately. So what I have done is, as a candidate for mayor of the city of Ocoee, I have actually come up with a 10-point plan. This 10-point plan addressed all those things and other things, things such as looking at the arts for our city, supporting the arts, cultural events, historical museums, encouraging and funding programs geared toward the arts, things that are going to be inclusive of all citizens, things that we're going to be able to say, we are one Ocoee. So these are things I've come up with, a 10-point plan that should take us into the next 40 years that will allow us to look at our legacy and what are we doing for Generation Z and what are we doing for Generation Alpha, which Generation Alpha right now, they're asking the questions, what are you doing to make sure that you leave us a great legacy? What are you doing as a leader of today and leaving us a city that we can be proud of, a city that can function on every level, a city that has a mission and a vision and take it beyond that 40 years and going into the next 40 years. So that is those are the reasons that I plan on, that I'm actually running for mayor of the city of Ocoee right now.
All right, and thank you for that breakdown. Do you already have a website where people can learn more about that, or is that still in the works?
Absolutely. No, the website is up and running. We've gotten a lot of great feedback from the website. It is georgeoliverformayor.com. Again, it's georgeoliverformayor.com. And you can go right onto the website and you can look there and see if you can read that 10-point plan that I have. I'm looking to bring people together. My goal, as you can see through my website and the things that we're trying to accomplish, I want to be able to let citizens know I represent everyone. So again, it's not about red or blue or D or R. It is simply about people. It is about people issues. It is about bringing folks together. It is about getting rid of those stigmatisms of old Ocoee versus new Ocoee. We are one Ocoee. And that is the message. It's about building a legacy. It's about building up, not tearing down. So as you'll hear, you'll hear some candidates out there it's about tearing down, about throwing mud. What you'll hear from my campaign, you're not going to hear anything, any mudslinging. You're not going to hear any negative campaign ads, none of that stuff. What you're going to hear is a consistent message of building a legacy and a future for our city.
Awesome. And for those that are watching, you saw the link pop up on the bottom of the screen. So if you want to learn a little bit more, especially about that 10-point plan, check it out, georgeoliverformayor.com. Now, obviously, there's a story here that I want to make sure to address, and I know you wanted to address it as well. But there was a story that circulated about a campaign announcement that you were working on, and you mentioned that the video wasn't meant to be released, but somehow it was. It got leaked. So I wanted to talk to you about that because obviously that was done, there in City Hall. So that's a point of contention. So I wanted to give you the floor to explain what's going on there.
Well, absolutely. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to address that. And again, there was a video that was made. I made two videos simultaneously sitting in a dais. One video was regarding the Human Relations Diversity Board as they wanted to disassemble that board. And it was a call to action. And that went public. That was a public video. It was meant to get out to the public. It was meant to be on social media. And that video was simply about coming in and voicing your opinions about stripping down a board that did not need to be stripped down. It should have been address the issues that we might have had on the board and allow the members that was on the board to continue to serve because they were there to serve and they were doing a great job serving. Now, the other video that most people that they talked about there was another video that we recorded as I was talking about my 10-point plan as to why I was going to run for mayor. I recorded that video as well, but that video was meant to be private. It was actually put on my YouTube channel as a private video. And the reason it was held private because I needed for our attorney to look at that video to make sure that it was okay to release it. However, it never got to that. Someone got into that account and made that video public. And I believe there might have been a few people that might have saw the video. But what I did was I actually spoke with the reporter about it. She was interested in my campaign platform. So I sent her a link to that video. She looked at the video, and while she actually watched the video, as she finished the video up, I took the video and I actually made it private, and then I deleted the video. And she came back to me and stated that, well, Commissioner, I cannot see the video because I want to share the video. And my response to her was that video was not meant to be seen. It was only for me and the attorney. I only sent it to you so you can hear my platform. But I think she had other purposes, or she had another reason for going back to the video. So as it stands right now, there's a lot of folks that are talking about the video, but guess what? No one's seen the video. You haven't seen the video because it wasn't meant to be seen. So my campaign announcement was actually done. It was done during a Zoom call hosted by Monica May. So again, that video, as if there was no wrongdoing because it was hacked. It was never publicized, never meant to be publicized. It was my private, personal video that someone hacked and tried to put out there. But nonetheless, as it stands right now, Melissa, as a reporter, my question to you was, your job is to go out and seek the truth and go out and seek what folks are talking about. And I asked you the question, had you seen the video? And the answer was, you only saw just a still shot and you did not see the video. Even if you were to type in the link, you would not see that video because the video was never, ever meant to be publicized and put out in the public.
Okay, thank you for sharing that.
As you hear, my opponent would try to capitalize on that and say I did something wrong. Well, there's nothing wrong when you publicize a personal video and it gets hacked and someone goes out and try to publicize it. There's nothing wrong with that. You didn't do anything wrong because it was never meant to be put out there in the first place. So again, my legal representation, my attorney looked at the Zoom call and said it was okay to publicize the Zoom call, which you'll see that. But that first video, I was told not to publicize the video, and we immediately took that video down.
Okay, and thank you for sharing that. Definitely wanted to address it because, of course, had the big Ocoee thing there. So
one thing I must say, if I publicize that video, if I was to put that video out on Facebook or Instagram or any other social media platform, and I did something wrong, the citizens should hold me accountable. My fellow commissioners and mayor should hold me accountable. Unfortunately, in this case, nothing was done wrong. The account was hacked, and someone actually made it public when it should have been private. But we caught it immediately before anyone really got out there to see that video. But nonetheless, my campaign is about accountability. I should hold myself accountable, and I should also hold the other commissioners and the mayor accountable for the things that they do. And that's the way it works. Leadership holds each other accountable. And that's the very first thing on my platform is accountability. So again, I take full responsibility. Even if a few people saw it, if one person saw it, 2 people saw it, I take full responsibility for my account being hacked, and it's okay. We corrected it, and the videos now have been removed. And I have no one in my camp, and no one as close to me has ever even seen the video. So again, things happen. We're not perfect, and we definitely don't do things out there that's going to be egregious or to be intentional about doing anything wrong. Again, that's why some things we have accidents. People make mistakes, but nonetheless, in this particular case, someone hacked the account, got into it, and made a private video public, shared it with a couple of folks. And we found out about it, and then we went back and changed the status of that video and removed it.
we're going to take one final commercial break, guys. We're going to come back and wrap things up with Commissioner Oliver. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
We wanted to move back home to be closer to his family. We decided to go with pods because things were stressful enough.
We weren't sure how long we were going to need storage for, so we needed something that was flexible, and then they can deliver the container to wherever we move to.
We haven't found the perfect house yet, but we're still looking.
All right, guys, we are wrapping up here for the FNN Politics and Power Series. Commissioner Oliver, the floor is yours for anything that we haven't discussed that you want the audience to know.
Well, I just want folks to know that, again, my campaign for mayor is one that is going to be focused on issues, focused on my 10-point plan, for the city that will lead us into the next 40 years. So we don't have to sit back and keep wondering why we don't look like Winter Garden, or why we don't look like our surrounding neighbors when it comes to our downtown projects, when it comes to our city and retail economic development, as well as again, sit-down restaurants and the things that we so badly need is infrastructure and 5G technology, those kind of things. So again, those are the things you'll hear that's coming from my team and my platform at my website, and any information that I put out there regarding my campaign, it would not have any negative overtones whatsoever. You may hear negative connotations coming from other folks that's running from the office. I'm going to ask that you ignore those things and stick to the issues. Again, anyone can say anything about anyone. That does not necessarily mean that those things are true. So again, I'm not going to address those things. As Michelle Obama so eloquently put it, if they go low, I will go high. I will continue to go high. And I want folks to understand that I will be a mayor that you can be proud of. I'll be a mayor that will not bully folks. I'll be a mayor that will have open door policies. I'll be a mayor that will be accessible. I'll be a mayor that you can reach out to. I'll be a mayor that you can count on 200% of the time. But I'll also be a mayor that will be looking to lead the city and move us in a direction that we can all be proud of, and also leave a legacy for our children.
Ocoee Commissioner George Oliver, ladies and gentlemen. Commissioner Oliver, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. You're welcome back on the show anytime.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll definitely be in touch.
Yes, sir. And for you guys that are still tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in this week to this week's edition of the FNN Politics and Power Series. We are back. Happy 2023. If you haven't yet, be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. You can find all of our socials across the bottom of your screen. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, FNN News TV. You'll find us on Instagram at Florida National News. And we'll be back next week with another episode of the FNN Politics and Power Series. I'm your host, Melissa Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Thursday afternoon. Take care.